Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is the second of a two-shot of a game called Rovers, which is a hack of World of Dungeons Turbo by Cat Ramen. You can download this game for free or free of charge from Aviatrix Games. It's a really fun little game. That uses the Powered by the Apocalypse engine. So we're rolling 2d6 plus a stat to resolve when it feels like the dice should help to guide us and tell us if you're successful or not successful at performing a particular action. And so it's Rovers is a hack of World of Dungeons Turbo, which is a hack of World of Dungeons, which is a hack of Apocalypse World and Dungeon World. So I heard you liked hacks, so we're playing a hack of a hack of a hack of a hack today, which I've also reskinned for Star Wars. By reskinned, I mean I stuck Star Wars stuff around it because really it's made to do Star Wars-y type stuff. In our first mission, we got to know the crew of the Naboo Pilgrim. You traveled to a planet called Korad in a desperate search for a particular G-Troc freighter, which some beings decided was a temple of their own. You were able to liberate the temple, gather the nav computer information, and even left the planet not only with your goodies, but with a follower as well. Tikitavi, a squib, which is, some people say, a blue rat creature. I kind of liken them to blue fox creatures. I don't know. Blue, furry, about 1 meter tall, like Jawa sized, which is appropriate. Tikitavi has joined the crew. So let's remind everybody that we do have lines, veils, and ask first. We have lines, which are things that we're not interested in having or featuring in our story at all. Veils, these are things we're okay if it happens, but we won't shine a spotlight on it. If it does happen, we'll quickly cut away or do a screen wipe. And then we have ask first. These are a couple of situationals. This could be cool, but please check in with the other players in the group before you introduce it into the fiction. Like, I have an idea about this being related to a pandemic. We have asked first on pandemics. So you would suggested, hey, Greg, Kai, Pavel, are you okay if we dipped our toe into that? And if any one of you say, you know what, let's give it a miss. I've been living with pandemics for 1.5 years, 2 years. I'd rather you do something else. Totally cool. We draw back. We think of something else. And if you feel stuck, just ask for help. It's okay. We got 4 beautiful brains here. I know we can work our way around it. So let's quickly remind ourselves of our characters. I'm going to start from the right-hand side of our character keeper. So Kai, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Good morning. My name is Kai. I use the they, them pronouns. I'm playing Janusz, a Jawa baron in exile. Janusz means let's go. And it's about the only thing that Janusz has ever said on screen. I don't think he's actually said anything else. He is a techie Jawa and can supposedly manipulate people, but we haven't seen that yet. And he is trying to return back home with the great treasure that will allow him to become Baron out of exile. And he's happy to be with the lieutenant and Nabana. They seem to have similar styles of work. They don't seem to question the way he does things, and he likes that.
Nice. It's always good to be with people who never question you. Pavel, you're up next. Please introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Oh, good morning. I'm Pavel, and I'm playing Nabana, who is at Wilek. We use pronouns the he, him. They are unexperienced Twi'lek with some years of experience, some good connections. He's missing Aleku as well, one of those Twi'leks that lost the Leku in some unfortunate situation. And who knows, maybe today we will see that he has some minor or some major, or we'll see some force powers, because it's Star Wars. It's obligatory to have some force here. So yeah, that's Nabana. He's bluish, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Pavel. And last but not least, we have Greg.
Hey, I'm Greg. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Supith Nick. Also uses he, him pronouns. Supith is oh no, I have forgotten the species that Supith is.
Gotal.
Gotal, that's right. Gotal, go goats. And Supith is a former rebel operative. He had the rank of lieutenant, which we found out at the end of last session. So he was high up there in the Rebel Alliance. But with the whole destruction of the Death Star, he feels that the Rebel Alliance needs to keep going, and they're all ready to administer a government or something silly like that. So he's not done with the war, and is splintered a little bit from the general New Republic. He thinks himself as still a rebel.
Would you say that your Gotal has the bleeding heart of a rebel at all times?
At all times.
At all times. Yeah. Sorry, dad jokes for the win or the loss. Sweet. We pick up with our session. Some time has passed since the activity, the fun that you had on Korad, the planet. Tikitavi has ingratiated herself into the crew. And I think we'll start off with seeing the Naboo Pilgrim, which the Naboo Pilgrim is a medium class freighter. And you guys are currently parked in, if we look in our galaxy map, I'm going to say that you're somewhere near Belthu. Belthu is a planet right on the edge of what is established as the New Republic. If you're looking at the Galaxy Maps tab, Belthu is around row 72 AL. So if you're doing a little bit of fun with the map there, AL 72 is where it is on my view. Belthu has bounced between. Sorry, I almost did a U.S. history analogy, but who cares? Belthu has bounced between New Republic allegiances, Imperial allegiances with the Zinja's Empire. Our time period is after Return of the Jedi, but there's still Imperial remnants that have not given up the ghost or their clutch, their mailed fist hand around part of the galaxy. And Belthu is right on the border, so there are times that it has been declared free, but then also the Empire has retaken. So it's a little war torn. There is a planet, a moon of Belthu that is fully free. However, it's fully free and also not New Republic. It's declared its independence of bump all you guys. But there is a gas giant within the Belthu system. And so we begin with the Naboo Pilgrim harvesting some of that for fuel. So if you could, Janusz, or maybe not Janusz, but Kai, describe to us, what do you imagine this fuel refinery looks like? How does the Naboo Pilgrim harvest fuel from a gas giant?
Yeah, I don't think Janusz will be able to describe that.
Exactly. That's still step back from Janusz. Janusz would, not have to do it.
So I guess what I imagine is that there is there's a section on the bottom of the ship and it can rotate. And what it is, it's just a scoop, and the scoop rolls out, collects stuff, and brings it inside. And then on the inside of the ship, that's used as for fusion, and it creates power, and it just keeps on scooping and bringing in material as it creates, as it powers the batteries of the ship. So basically, we get to fly through a gas giant. We can be kind of, silly about it. We could just be doing maneuvers or whatever. We could just be sitting there, but it's better if you're moving, because you get more stuff as you go along. So if we wanted to, we could just find a rotation around. I guess I don't know my levels. It's not the ionosphere. I don't know. We'd be towards the top, but not beyond the top, and just scooping our way to energy.
Can I interject like a little hard sci-fi into this?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
It's early on Sunday morning, and I'm just like, there's some science behind this, and I'm just
No, I was just thinking that like if we're this close to a gas giant to like be getting an appreciable amount of the atmosphere, it's probably very challenging to pilot with that much gravity pulling on the ship.
Okay.
Like I imagine Bespin is actually like very light, and but if we have to get all of the density of this stuff, like we have to it's a piloting challenge for Supeth.
It's perfect, because I wanted to see what is going on with Supeth being the pilot trying to scoop up more. So I didn't mean to cut you off, Kai. I apologize.
No, yeah, that's perfect, because maybe Janusz sees it as a joyride, and maybe we should flip it over to Supeth and see what he thinks.
Supeth is sweating bullets and like quickly toggling, not taking his eyes off of the front, and just like he's piloting just by feel. He knows where all the things are.
Nice. As you are piloting Supeth, your comms pick up a signal. It's coming in on an old rebel frequency. You, of course, recognize it from your days as lieutenant in the Rebel Alliance. It is an SOS signal, but it's on a coded frequency, so it's obviously being put out in hopes that it's not scooped up by Imperials, but for folks who might know the old code. It's been bounced off of a couple different repeaters. You can tell that just from the degradation of the signal, but there's enough that holds true that you know what it is.
Supeth, like for 5 seconds, engages the autopilot and turns to the comms panel and starts flipping all the switches to get the encoded signal into the cockpit, and then immediately comes back, turns off the autopilot, and starts flying again. We lose like 30 meters of height while we do that.
Nice. And I think as that takes place, as you're doing all this work, and I think Tiki Tavi will scurry over to you, Janusz. Where are you on the ship? And don't forget, we do have a little bit of a deck plans in case you want to use that to place yourself. So where are you when Tiki Tavi locates you?
So I'm guessing that
And if that looks too small, here's a blow up picture of the.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Old man eyes.
Same. That's why I got the blow up picture for moi.
Just making sure. Okay, so directly above the main hold / security area, on the rear walls, rear in regards to the cockpit, there are a couple of ladders, and they can take you up to a. Oh, that's a gun. Well, that's perfect. Janusz's observation dome, also known as a
Turret.
a gun, a turret, and is enjoying the joyride of scooping from the gas giant.
Nice. So you are up there enjoying the joyride, like all the gases are passing over you, and they're very colorful. I'm imagining that this really is beautiful. And your lack of knowledge of the pure challenge of what Supethnik is pulling off makes it all the more fun. And the ship starts to drop down a little bit, and that's when calling up the ladder and then scurrying up is your newfound follower who respects your abilities as a baron. Bernanush, she says. Something is wrong. Something is wrong.
So Janusz is making like a symbol, like, let's go to wherever it is. Janusz, and like it's got the hands like, go back down, let's go.
She scurries back down the ladder, and then the two of you join Supethnik in the cockpit, which is actually, if you take a look, you could seat the entire crew in the cockpit if you so wish. It's very Millennium Falcon in that way. Let's jump over to Nabana as Janusz and Tiktavi are approaching the cockpit. Where would Nabana be in the ship at this time? And we'll again bring up our cool pick.
I think just 12. No, 12 is exit now. I think Nabana was basically inspecting our cargo hold, which seems rather empty, and was just sitting and browsing on a datapad his contacts in the nearby regions. And then he remembered that Supeth has this logo on his arm that kind of everyone knows its meaning. At least that's what I envisioned from the image.
Yeah.
And he thought, well, maybe before we start picking up jobs in this area, maybe I should like check out with Supeth that it's not going to be a problem. So yeah. So I think Nabana will also go to the cockpit. In the middle of it, there was this like dive in, and he comes in with like covered with like a coffee, which is like spilled from the cup, and
Don't spill that on anything.
At least I don't know. Give me some warning that I'm again full on coffee.
It requires complete concentration.
Cool. So the crew has gathered together, Supethnik. Janusz and Janusz's speaker, which I guess is Tiktavi, says, something's wrong with the ship. What's happening? Are we under attack?
Got a distress signal. And I'll just hit the button to play it back.
Sweet. Now, if you will bear with me, let me use a particular voice mod, and then it will be fun for me, but we'll see how it is. Anyone who's able to hear on this record, I am located. If you can signal, you need to down the we've taken heavy.
I'm not sure if you were actually talking that whole time, Rich, because that was a really broken up distress call.
Yes, it was. So
Okay.
it was, and I was like, that's why I wanted to warn them that it could be too much, but that's okay. What you get as she repeats it a few times, is first, she identifies herself as Second Lieutenant Mila Charcourt. Now, Supith, you served alongside Mila. She was a comms officer and a mechanic. You don't know from the point when you mustered out where she ended up, but she was a good fighter. She was smart. She was technically minded rather than being a hard-nosed leatherneck like you. She's a human, and she's using an old Rebel Alliance signal. Says that she's on a sounds as if she's referring to the recovering insurgent, as if it's a ship and that it's taken heavy damage.
Oh boy. I think I don't know, probably some New Republic another skirmish with the last empire. I think we should just, I don't know, stay clear.
I know, Mila. It's real. She's in trouble.
I'm not saying it's fake, but it's not our place to.
So Ganush says something in Mon Calamari. He says it's a trap.
Or that.
And the last job wasn't.
All right. The Jawa shrugs. Okay.
Last job was clear. There's no credit in helping out the New Rebellion.
I'm aiming for like a read a stitch here. Is there a way that I can like, I don't know. I want to like know that there. What was the name of the ship again?
The recovering insurgent.
The recovering insurgent. I see it now. Space wreck. Oh gosh. Spoiler alert. Is there like a read a stitch on that ship, like that I can be like, look, there's platinum ingots on it. I know that ship.
Oh,
there's something valuable, something something to bait Nibbana with.
You can always lie.
If you want to make, I mean, I think you don't. Well, I mean, I don't want to say you don't know a thing, so we could definitely make it a wits roll. I mean, you're very witty, right?
I'm so witty. Sure, let's make it a wits roll. Why not?
Dice roller. I need to log back into the dice roller.
Minus one. All right, we're gonna give this a shot. Can I remember anything? No.
That appears to be that was not a ship that was part of the Rebel Alliance. You don't recognize that designation code at all. You're gonna have to lie.
Or whatever you say is on the ship. Like maybe you do know what's on the ship.
Right.
Whatever's on the ship, like Nabana will not be happy when it's not there. Or whatever. Like when they got ripped out of the back of it when it got like attacked or whatever. Anyway, I was just
Nabana,
that's cute. Like
I suppose we've been flying together for a while. What is something that would make you interested if to get off of that ship?
So we are salvage crew. Probably some good value components. Oh my god, so hard to say. So we are salvage crew / smugglers. Yeah. So either that, either something valuable, or you know that Nabana isn't like a big art collector, but he likes collecting whatever is left of Twi'lek's art, because Twi'leks are usually not artists, or their art is like usually somewhere else, and so he likes to collect at least the small pieces of Twi'lek's art.
I love it. So yeah, I think Supeth might be lying through his teeth. You may even pick up on it. But I served on the recovering insurgent. There's artifacts aboard. We made a tour through Ryloth.
But you're really breaking me. You're really working me there. But we will take some. But we will have some time to recover them. Not only the people or whatever else it is there.
Well, every second we waste here is a second we can't have recovering the artifacts. Come on. And then I'll just, there's a big handle and slam it. No more conversation. We're diving for the ship.
The scoop comes up from the bottom of the pilgrim. You start pulling away from the Belfu. Say it's like Belfu 4, the gas giant, pulling away from his gravity. The whole ship vibrates a little bit as the pilgrim pulls up and away. You plot in some hyperspace coordinates and take off into Zinja's empire, into hyperspace. So
Ganesh always wants to hit the button to send us into hyperspace, but Supeth never lets him touch the button or any button in the cockpit.
Did Supeth ever let him touch, or has it always been a don't? I'm the one who touches the button for Supeth.
I'm the one who ducks.
I am the one who touches the button.
Nice.
One day I'll catch you off guard. One day. I'll send in my Tiki Tavi to confuse you.
That's right. Tiki Tavi will confuse you. So I find that it's just easier for me to display stuff via the screen share. So I'm going to take over your screens for just a second. I apologize, but I wanted to give you a sense of place. So you were here at Belfu, again, right on the border. The border with Zinja's empire. You're headed, actually skirting across. There's a planet called Arda, and just between Arda and Meridon is the spot where this distress signal, where it's emanating from. You guys come out of hyperspace, and all of your telemetry, other devices that are measuring where you are in space and what's nearby. You are near another gas giant, and in fact, it's a rather large gas giant. It's part of a system that is uninhabited. That's why it's not even on most astrogation maps. It's a 3-planet system with a very small sun. Supeth is it's dimming, like it's a dying star, and that gas giant has grown, and so the gravity well of this gas giant is pretty significant. And you see a ship, the very one that let off the distress beacon, is caught in orbit around that, but the orbit is declining, like it's being pulled in closer. And that is the Surgent. When you arrive, you see that the engines are gone. Like if we go to the Surgent map, you'll see that there are no engines. They have been blown off. There also appear to be a couple of other spots where there's probably no atmosphere if life support is still on. What do you do?
We got to just go, straight for it. No time to waste. I imagine there's like docking clamps or something on either the top or the bottom of the ship, so we can like attach. I mean, is it one of those things where like we might be able to boost its orbit and get it back out if we're attached, or is this one of those like we have to get on board, get everyone off, and get out ourselves because there's no way we're going to be able to save it?
I really think that's up to your skill as a pilot. The easier part is go on, get off what you can and take off. The harder part is pulling this thing out of orbit with your ship. So what do you want to start with? What do you want to do first?
Well, I suppose we should dock, and regardless of what we do, we should get anybody on board off. So yeah,
cool. I'm going to
dock.
check in with Nabana and Janusz as Sipith is pulling up to this derelict ship. What are either like Nabana? What are you doing in preparation for this?
I probably open our scavenger scanner and I scan, for the most common thing, just scan for life signs.
That is awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Go ahead and give me a roll. Do not forget, guys, within the mechanics of this game, you have strain. And now that you've had 2 terms, you have an extra box of strain. Strain allows you to mark it and you can roll an extra die. So I just want to remind you guys of that now that we're in the stuff.
It's an 11.
Wow. That is awesome. So first, let me do a thing. If you're looking at the tab called the Sergeant, I am changing the picture. So now, based on your scans, you're able to pick up. So it's red and green. The green is not good. The green is not for good. Red is the toxic atmosphere. Or I'm sorry, no atmosphere. Sorry, not toxic. Green is the toxic atmosphere. Also, you pick up that there are 2 life forms aboard.
And a specific location for those life forms?
The specific location for the life forms, I will say, I'm just trying to, one of them appears to be on, this is Rich trying to remember port versus starboard. Port is left, starboard is right.
Okay.
So on the left or port side, in that area just below the no atmosphere, like up against the hull, is one of the life forms. And there's another life form that is currently in the port side top area. So like column C, row 22, that particular, if you're looking at the.
Yep.
So you've got that information. Let's jump over to Janusz and Tiktavi. Janusz, what are you doing?
I'm choosing my loadout, and I'm going to assume that there's not going to be any artificial gravity. I'm going to assume that there's not going to be any air to breathe. So I'm getting things equipped that will allow me to walk through the ship and breathe in the ship. And that's all kind of boring. So what can a crazy Jawa do? Let's see. Well, I mean, this is a big wreck, and we have no idea what we're going to find on it. So Janusz is looking at our current cargo to see if there's anything that could be spaced to make room for whatever it is we're going to get off of the insurgent. That's what my guy will be doing.
Oh, you're just trying to get rid of stuff so you have more space. I like that.
Right.
Nice.
You know, nothing like all these Twilight art objects. I don't need them. So we'll just dump them. No. Let's see. Oh, no, yeah. I'm gearing up. I'm imagining vacuuming out some cargo when somebody who's a lot more responsible than me stops me. I don't know who they are, but feel free to narrate yourself in there, preventing me from jettisoning our cargo. It could even be ticky-tacky, like putting the hand on a shoulder, like, are you sure that's what you want?
If neither PC was to stop you.
Tiki-tavi is my conscience. I have now externalized my conscience. And they're like, no, let's get some guns. You want a bigger gun, right? Let's go get your gun. Yeah. All right, guns. Yeah. So I'm focusing on guns right now.
Okay. Cool.
And I choose heavy. I'm going in heavy.
That seems appropriate. Sweet. So Janusz is geared up to go in Nambana after you gather the information from the signal scanner bit. What do you do, Nambana, once you have that information?
Yeah, I turn to Supeth. I show him the result of the scan. So while the two of you are going to rescue someone, where can I find my priceless artifacts you promised?
It's gonna be probably in that green spot over there.
But the one in the center, or the one on the starboard?
Center. Yeah, that's the one.
As you guys are talking about that,
Okay.
a new signal is emitted from the surgeon. A new comm signal. It is not on the Rebel Alliance band. It's actually on an Imperial band.
Are they they sort of calling us, or is it just like, I don't know, a wide broadcast?
It appears to be a wide broadcast. It's an encoded message. What do you do?
I assume it's encoded, so we cannot like read it.
You can't
Or
easily
browse it.
read it.
Easily read it. I don't know. The Supeth is just gonna dock with the ship.
Okay.
He doesn't really care about this signal. If Nabana wants to do something about
Yeah. Well, I open it up. Maybe it will warn us not to approach it, or something else. So yeah, I open up and see what the message is.
Cool. The message is encoded, so you can tell that something's coming in, but is gibberish unless you can decode it somehow.
Yeah, Janusz, are you done with your stuff? There is a message that could use some of your expertise. Well, maybe you can try to decode it while I will go and gear up.
Okay, so I imagine Janusz is like already like getting stuff on, is like burdened down. So
Tiki-Tavi is like sliding a little piece of armor onto you.
So Janusz like flips off the comms and he just starts waddling his way slowly to wherever he's supposed to be going. But it's not as fast as maybe Nabana would like. But I'm encumbered, yo. So I'm just waddling my way across the ship. So I guess I'm going to make a tech roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a tech thing. What does my tech
do.
thing say?
Your
techie
tech thing
stuff.
just says you can do tech. So give me a wit roll.
Yeah, I'm good at wit. Oh, I am good at wit. I'm not lying. All right. 2d6 plus 2. That would be another 11.
Goodness, the dice love you guys. The dice love you guys. That's fantastic.
Supeth is suspicious of how quickly you decoded an Imperial message.
How is it that Janusz knows Imperial codes?
So, back at the home tank, I don't know what you call that giant double-decker tank thing, but back at the home tank, we were many years ago approached by some Imperials and a sandcrawler. Thank you. And back at the home sandcrawler, and some big deals were made. They wanted our stuff, and then they didn't pay for the stuff, and then they shot at us and left. So we had some things on board our sandcrawler, and we spent a year preparing for it, and then we started sending out Imperial signals that we had worked on to draw in another ship so that we could take whatever the hell they had and shoot at them and laugh at them and roll away. So it's from an act of revenge, but it was a useful skill to pick up. Cool.
That's awesome. I love it.
Okay. All right.
Cool. So you hear the message of this person.
Forces of Sinch's Empire, this is Lieutenant Naylor Arut. The counterinsurgency has been taken care of. I am ready for my pickup. Please follow this signal.
And then it repeats.
So it's recorded?
It is recorded.
Okay. So at first, Yanush is a little confused and thinks it's a live feed and starts telling this Imperial where they can stuff it in Java, but then it starts repeating and he gets upset and he hits it with his fist and he walks back to where he's supposed to be getting his stuff on.
He's waiting with a boot.
Right. Gotta get my boots on.
I'm trying to get my head around it. So she called us on rebel frequency, and now she's calling Imperials on saying that she dealt with the rebel.
Very
elements.
different voice. There are two individuals on this ship at this time. One of them is who Supeth responded to using a Rebel Alliance signal. There is a second signal that just came out from someone using an Imperial distress beacon saying, I've finished my job. This has been taken care of. Come pick me up.
Okay.
Is that clear? Does that help?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because I think you used a very similar name, like also Mila or something similar, and I was confused.
Sorry about that. That's my fault for using a name generator and just randomly picking the one that looked coolest. So
thank you for clarification. Now everything is clear.
Right.
So I'm going to try and land or attach to the most central location there that it looks kind of like a picnic table in the middle.
Yes.
Or do I not have an option? Do I have to go to another side?
There is a functioning airlock.
Is that on the starboard or right side?
It is on the starboard or right side.
Okay.
The non-functioning airlock is on the port side. It's destroyed. So if you
Okay.
see that destroyed red bit on the port
Yeah, right
side,
below
and
it.
just flip
Okay.
to the other side, to the starboard side, that is the airlock that is functioning.
Yeah, we'll saddle up next to it and engage the docking clamps. And
Nice.
Supeth is light load. He's thrown on a vac suit and grabbed a blaster and nothing else.
I mean, does he need anything more? He's just so BA.
I mean, this is smash and grab. I don't know why Yanush has grabbed 7 different guns, but
All right. And so we have heavy for Nabana and Janusz, and the 3 of you enter. We're not going to do map combat. Sorry, friends. If someone was looking forward to it, I apologize. I know Pavel's so disappointed. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible, terrible person. I'm a dirty hippie gamer. Sweet. So you guys head into the airlock, the 3 of you. And as you do, you cycle through the airlock and find that while you're wearing vac suits, you may want to keep them on. There is flickering lights, and your readouts show that there is within the airlock and this first room, which is a utility and storage area, there is atmosphere, like there is life support still functioning here. Janusz, you can tell all of this. Oh, question, Janusz. Does Tiki Tavi have a vac suit, or is Tiki Tavi staying back on the ship? I'm cool either way. I just want to know.
Maybe if I upgraded to encumbered, and my load choices are her load choices in case I need her to have something. Like I'd like to bring her aboard, but I don't want to have too much advantage from having 2 characters, or rolling on initiative and moving 10 squares and yeah, no, she's coming with me. I don't know why I'm bothered by it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. She's got a vac suit on as well. She's following you. It's your backup vac suit, I assume. She does not complain. Yeah, she does not complain about the smell because she respects you as a Baron.
But she should really complain about the smell. I don't tend
privately to other people. She might say, "Yeah, it's very smelly." So you guys head inside. There's a storage area here. This is a utility storage, so there are droid parts, mechanical parts, everything was filed away, but it looks like this ship got shook up pretty bad. So there's a lot of stuff on the floor. There is artificial gravity still existing, but with the fact that that the ship is running on backup power, not sure how long that will last. When you come into the central area, I assume you guys are progressing forward unless you tell me you're doing something else. When you come into the central area, the area that has the conference table, which it exactly is a conference table, you see that the conference table itself, if you were to strip this thing bare, it does have a hollow projector. It does have some nice software packages and data crystals. But as you are doing that, the door cycles open to the fore of the ship, to the north, to the top, and a person not wearing a vac suit appears, who, Supeth, you do not recognize. She looks a little wigged out, and she appears to be in her 40s, maybe, human. And She looks at the lot of you, and there's a moment where she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you here? Did you respond to the distress beacon?"
So is she clothed in any way that like marks her as an Imperial?
Nope, she is
Okay.
not. She's wearing like a ruddy brown jacket and a pair of like cargo pants, like lots of pockets. Looks like she's an engineer mechanic.
So I think Supeth like reaches up and hits the button on his vac suit that like turns on the lights. We're all lit from below.
Nice.
And is this your ship?
I'm part of the crew. My name's Arut. Nelly.
And this is okay.
So I have a quick question. Nabana, what you discovered, like the comm signal you picked up, or as Yanush, Yanush, you heard that signal. Did you pass that along to the crew before you guys came aboard?
You're muted.
Thank you. The signal that I decoded for Nabana, the Imperial signal.
Mhm.
I played it loud enough that anybody on the ship could hear it.
Okay, so you guys have all heard that. I just wanted to make sure and drop that in so that nobody felt like they were playing with player knowledge. So you know that there is someone named Nelia Orut, who this woman just identified herself, who sent out an Imperial distress signal.
And Supeth will like look at the two short vac suits and isn't entirely sure which one is Yanush. With all of the blinking lights.
We all look the same.
Yanush, put her in binders.
Okay. All right. The ever prepared Yanush apparently has binders. I will put that on my.
Supeth is assuming that you might have binders.
All right. I'll mark that as a concealed weapon and walk over and try to slap on.
Yeah. When you do that, she steps back and reaches behind her to pull out a blaster. She's going to shoot you. You guys are not the good guys in her mind. So she's not going to allow you to do that. What do you do?
Can I quick draw on her before she has a chance with my military background?
Oh, baby, you can try. Let's see you do it.
Okay. That's plus might. This is more of like an intimidation thing. Supeth is probably of the mind that there are worse things for Imperial scum than just getting shot. So it's a 7. Oh, Supeth, you're letting me down today.
Supeth's dice don't love him.
Yeah, it's real quick with the blaster, disconcertingly fast for a weird goat alien, and straight at her head. No.
Sweet. So a 7 to 9 is a partial success. You do it with a cost, compromise, reduced effect, or harm. Tell me if this feels like reduced effect. You're able to keep her from. So here's my thought: you keep her from shooting Yanush, but she skips back and tries to close the door.
Oh yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay,
I'm avoiding the Yanush gets shot.
Cool. Just making sure we're on the same page. Yeah. So she is going to skip back to the north, and the area behind her is actually the mess hall. So that area north of it is the mess hall, and she closes the door real quick. Like, she's not going to get put in binders at all.
Well, so we'll try the easy way.
All right, guys, you want to deal with the Imperial scum? Go ahead. I'm taking a look at this door. I'll probably vent it, but since both of you are in the vac suit, then it will probably even help you.
Which one are you going to vent?
I mean, maybe not vent, but Nabana is approaching this door to the toxic part, and it looks like he's about to open the door to this toxic room on the bottom.
Anybody want to do anything about that?
No, that's where the other life form is, right? So just refresher. So we saw one life form up in the fore part of the ship, and then one also on the port side, but beyond the green, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, if that's where Mila is, then yeah. Supet's all about that.
Okay. Then Navana, you open up that door, and yeah, everything seems really calm in this room. This room here was the basically the droid tech area. You see that there are a few droids in here. They look like reconditioned B1, like Clone War era soldier drones or droids. And when you open that up, one of them looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be in this area.
You mentioned those are some combat droids, yes?
Yeah. This one actually has a blaster pistol in its hand. It's not aiming it at you, but it has it.
Yeah. Nabana,
You are not authorized to enter this area.
Yes, of course. Nabana just looks around. Are there like more of these droids in this room? Doesn't try to like enter the room, just like looks around. Are there like more?
There are two other droids. One is like trying to replace its leg, and a third one is currently probably working on a console. But there's only one that has a gun, and it's trained right at you. And the one working on its leg is his.
I need a moment to replace my leg.
Yeah. Bye. And I close this door.
The door closes.
Doesn't look like my artifacts are there. I'm going to go around the hall, and I'm going to vent those guys into the space from the other side. I will let the two of you deal with this Imperial scum.
What's
So
your
just
plan?
to be clear, your plan is to vent the.
I want to go to this door at the very bottom below this room and open them from the outside to vent those droids out.
So you want to go outside the ship?
Yes.
And come back into that broken up stuff and
I had
try
this
to
in
suck
mind.
them
I'm
out.
not.
That's
but
awesome.
Yeah. To speak
like
plainly, I want to go on the on the outside side of the ship, get into this rest of the corridor on the very bottom, and then open those doors to vent those droids out. I don't have to like shoot them. That's we'll see.
Cool. That's awesome. I love this idea. So just so I have a general idea of the kind of mentally time it's going to take, is Namana going to go back into the Pilgrim and then airlock out from the Pilgrim to spacewalk out to that back area, or do you want to go to the airlock and there's an area that's exposed that's right along the right hand side that you could
Yeah, I
just...
think I might go to the port because I assume I would have to like unhook our ship to be able to exit it into the space. So that's a bad idea. So probably I can go to this broken airlock on the port side and just go from there. So
Okay, so you're traversing across
yeah.
to the broken airlock. Awesome. You will be traveling much like just inside the airlock that you came through. There's another utility storage area. This area has so it looks like this secondary utility storage area on the port side has some stuff that you could definitely salvage. It looks like there's some kind of ore here. It is not refined in any way, shape, or form, but it's all secured down, so it hasn't quite floated away. But you're more focused on getting out the airlock. You've got a salvage side, so I want to make sure you know that's there. And then you cycle through the airlock, and sure enough, you see space. You see you've entered the gas giant, so it's similar.
Yeah.
Like that beautiful thing that
as I'm exiting, I'm going to use our comms to probably to speak to Janusz, because in Nabana's mind, Supet is going to go on this like imperial revenge killing spree. So I won't even talk to him about not doing it, and I'm just hey Janusz, there is some cargo we can salvage in this compartment if we have time. Going outside. Yeah, and then I will proceed just to know that there is some stuff valuable if they want to do with do stuff with it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you're making your way out. We'll check up with you in a moment. Janusz, some Clone War era, very old droids just told Nabana to go away, and he did so, and closed the door and took off, saying he's going to head out the airlock and take care of these guys. What are you doing, Janusz?
Well, you don't bring as many guns as I have to find a peaceful solution to things. So I look at Supeth, and I pick up my gun and I point it towards the door, and I'm like, "We doing this thing? Like, Janusz?"
Janusz, and I'll shoot the controls for the door, which always opens the door in Star Wars.
Totally does.
Or closes it as necessary. Whichever thing you need to have happen happens. All right. Yeah. I'm going to fire into a toxic room full of droids with guns.
This sounds amazing. I'm in full support.
So you're going for the droids, and Supeth was going to go after the Imperial.
Oh, wrong door. Got it.
I'm okay with like us just like we're doing this thing, yeah, and then we just do the opposite.
If you want to do both the things, you can, but
we completely cross wires here due to Janusz's lack of use of common, and feels like he has a lot of support behind him, which he has some. He's got a fox, a squib, just not as many goat men as he had counted on.
Yeah, one less Gotal. Yeah.
So
this is awesome. Let's lead off with Supeth, because he's the one who was heading towards the fore of the ship. You blast it, the door opens up, and she's firing, right? It's like she kind of expected this. She's just been standing there holding her blaster, waiting for some fool to come walking through. I think you get shot, right?
Yeah.
But you've got that quick draw. You could fire right back, but I think you're going to get hit.
I'm okay. I mean, I do a lot of damage. Even with just a regular blaster. Okay. This is rolling plus might.
Yeah.
Or is this grit because it's like, because we haven't rolled plus grit. and it's a flat roll, and that's more interesting.
I will say that if it weren't a thing where you're walking in to get shot, it would be might. But knowing that she's just right there, sure, let's say it's grit.
Okay, I'll reform my action a little bit here so that it is more gritty. I know she's there. I know I'm gonna get shot. I want to like scare the crap out of her by just taking the hit and just grabbing her and just
Wow.
Just keep going, right?
That is gritty. That is
Okay.
gritty.
Then that's the wrong direction. All right, here we go. Rolling flat.
You do remember your dice don't love you, right?
7.
Your dice decided to be moderately in love with you. So a 7 to 9 partial success. Yeah, you take the hit.
Can I actually? I'm gonna. This feels like a time for strain. I'm gonna roll one more d6.
All right, let's see it. That's a really good time for strain.
That's a 4.
That pushes you
4. Yeah, it's additive, right?
Yes,
So,
it is. It is additive. It is not a rolling with advantage. So you got an 11, which means you still take the hit, right? Because we agreed you're going to get shot, but you have a full success, no further complications. So let's please have you roll a d3, so a d6 cut in half.
Okay.
Round up.
Oof, that's 3.
Oof, you take 3 hit points of damage.
She gets a good shot on me.
She does. She hits you right in the chest. It hurts like a kick from a space mule. A bite from a gundark. There we go. And then you grab hold of her. What do? You fully success without further complications. Grab hold.
So, can we just like have I have the binders at this point?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I throw her in the binders and give her the whatever the Miranda rights are from the Rebel Alliance.
Miranda rights.
That's awesome.
Right, like it's the you are, I am taking you into custody on behalf of the Rebel Alliance. Your imperial ways cannot stand and are a detriment to the galaxy.
Rebel scum! Have your goat horns.
You will be brought before a military arbitration. You will.
She spits at you. It's like right on your little vac suit visor thing. Let's swing down to Yanush. And I think Nabana, you're like on the other side about to fit this thing to space when Yanush busts in. So when you bust in, one of the droids is talking to the one who's now affixed his leg. He's a B1 droid. He has a protocol, like a C-3PO leg on his right leg now. And the droid who pointed the gun says,
"Oh no, they left. We're fine. We just need to hold this place down. Uh-oh."
And that's when you blasted open the door.
Right. I just to rewind just a second. The insults that Supeth launched at Nelia as part of her Miranda rights. I like to imagine that those are the Miranda rights, and like even if they're like busting someone for like drug possession in the New Republic, like they call them an imperial scum and stuff like that.
It's the expurgated version that we use here.
Anyway, yeah, I can't wait on a droid to start a firefight. So I'll pull out a tripod, set my TR-50 down, and start firing. See what they
Death to
do.
the Imperials!
Wait, they say what?
Death to the Imperials.
That's what I want to do. Why am I shooting them?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, before I click the trigger, I'm like my head tilts like, and like I guess he can just speak Java because they got a protocol leg. They'll probably understand like a fourth of the words.
Exactly. The leg, that's
Yes.
where all the protocol brains are kept, is in the leg.
Death to the Imperials? You're here to help us?
We are here to protect Lieutenant Mia Charcourt. To the death!
Oh. Well, I'm just here to steal your stuff. But there's an Imperial behind me. She's shooting up the place. I think that's the only
yes, the
Imperial
rebel,
here.
Imperial spy. I told you we should have spaced her.
Well, I guess I don't. If I help you, which these are hard words for not Yanish to say. If I help you with,
just be patient. He's very slow.
Person you're defending, can I just take the stuff?
Yes.
Oh. And so like I dropped the TR-50 just sort of like tilts down on the tripod, and I'm just like sort of wobbling forward, like gonna do a Joe a hug to welcome my new compatriots.
This area is contaminated.
With Imperials, I know.
The atmosphere is toxic. There is radiation leak here. You may come in, but you will likely die. Please understand, I am not turning down a hug.
Well, let me fix that.
Roger,
And,
roger.
So let me take a look at the map.
And I think that's when Nabana, you open up to vent this thing to space.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I don't suppose there is a window in this door to look inside.
Sure. You like climb in and you're looking across, you look through the little, because this sounds fun, and you get a view of Janusz standing at the edge of the doorway, having some kind of conversation with one of the droids. There's another droid standing behind that has a protocol droid leg and has filched up a blaster rifle of their own. And then there's one last droid that's logged in and is still trying to work on something on a terminal.
Janusz, what are you doing inside? I'm about to open the door from the outside and space those nasty Imperial droids.
Oh, they're my friends. I'm gonna take care of the. Oh wait, that's in Jawa. Rewind. It's actually really difficult to be as incommunicative as I want to be with Janusz.
If you want to have Janusz say stuff in Jawa and then you play Tiki Tavi interpreting it, I am more than happy if you want to use that as your follower as your interpreter.
Okay, all right. So you see Janusz walk off and says some things to Tiki Tavi and then walks off because he's going to go like work on like stuff for the radiation and the toxic nature of the room. And she says, there are friends and I'm fixing the room. Jawa. Friends. Customers. Paying people are here. I'm going to fix the room.
Those droids paid you to fix the room?
Yeah, I think we could take whatever we want if we help them.
Fine, whatever. Yeah.
I think that's where we go to break. That's such a great reaction to go to break. All right, we are back. Nabana, after this conversation with Janusz through Janusz's interpreter. I now think of Janusz as similar to like a high profile athlete that has their own interpreter to speak with the media. So after working through Tikitavi, Janusz's interpreter, did you decide not to vent them into space? Is that right? Where do you want to go?
Well, I cannot enter through here because if I open this door, I will vent everyone inside. So unfortunately, Nabana wasn't happy coming here, and now it turns out that probably Supet didn't know what he was thinking about, because this seems to be definitely a droid bay, not some artifact storage compartment. But maybe it's time to just like look for anything salvageable. And there's this door just next to me that seemed to be fine, and so I'm going to like check this compartment for anything of value. I'm going to do it very carefully, like open the door slightly so that to vent the atmosphere and then check what's inside. And then I think I'm going to make my way all around.
Cool. Give me a wit roll. We'll just use that to generally cover you scouting out the ship, doing the thing that you guys do, the salvaging thing, trying to find goods and seeing how much you can scrape out of here.
Do you think while doing it, I come to facing environmental challenges or not?
Of course you're facing environmental challenges.
Of course. So I have +1 because I'm good at facing them. I'm a pro salvager.
Yeah, you are.
So it was a wit roll, yes?
Yes.
And it's 9.
A 9. Okay. Do you want to blow a strain to push that up?
Now that you mention it, I actually really might do it. It's there to be spent.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe I will find something valuable. I need to roll a 3 to get something really valuable. It's a total of 14.
A 14 after that? Yeah, man. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Remember that your starship has upkeep, and that's done in a level of credits. So
yeah,
what I'm going to do with a 14, that is, according to Rovers, a 12 or more is a critical success. You do it to some extra benefit or advantage. I'm going to have you roll 3d6. That is the number of credits or creds worth of salvage that you scope out and realize that you guys could scrape out of this thing.
Another 14.
Wow. This is so. I would say the ore itself, once processed, and of course you got to find somebody who will buy it off you raw or find a processing plant yourself. But I'm going to say that's like half of it right there. 7 of the creds are in that one supply area. But yeah, pay dirt, literally. But you've got 7 other cred worth of stuff you can scrape from the insurgent if you have the wherewithal, stuff that was not lost. Like, the engines are gone, the weapons are functional. It's going to take a bit of time, but yeah, you can get to work on that. What's the first priority?
So Nabana will slowly start salvaging over here, waiting for Janusz to, I don't know, make this area untoxic so that we can get to the last surviving member of the crew. So
Okay.
Nabana will himself like start cutting stuff off and carrying it back to our ship. Yeah.
Sounds good. So I want to see what Supet's up to. You have secured the Imperial scum and read her I don't know, Organa rights, I guess we would call them, maybe.
Mon Mothma rights, yeah.
Mon Mothma rights.
So we're in this the central room here at the top, right? And you said that's the mess hall?
The central at the top is the mess hall with a circular thing. Yep.
Okay. If I kind of know this ship, what's the room to the left?
Cool. You know what? How about this? Let me drop in a new pick that has that won't have the what's what's contaminated, what's not. But it has
You just do
where,
it next to
where
it,
things
too.
are. Oh, that's true. I could do that thing. Well, hold on. Let me do that. That's a real good idea. Like, thank goodness I play with smart people, right? All right, and let me drop in the link. Just a sec. Oh, it does have the thing. I'm a doo-doo head. All right, I'm just going to put it in there and leave that out.
Okay. Ooh, cryostasis pods. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna take her to the bridge. Because if she's part of this, she was on this ship, there's gonna be, at least in Supet's mind, there's Imperial data on here that he needs to get back to the Rebel Alliance, not the New Republic, the Rebel Alliance. So, probably like pushing her ahead, opening up the doors to the bridge, looking for something that Yanush would grab.
You have but one chance, Gotal. One chance alone. If you help me to escape this place, I will make sure that you are not imprisoned, that you are not sent to the spice mines of Kessel or tortured beyond your own existence.
Yanush, how do I turn off the external microphone on this thing? Listen, imp, you're gonna give me all, and he's just pointing with his gun at all of the the bridge equipment. You're gonna get me a download of all the Imperial positions in this system, or I'm gonna push you out the cryopods.
Number one, I don't have such vital information, nor would I ever give it out. And number two, I don't think you have the stones.
And so just pulls her back from the bridge and goes to the cryopods.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'll just like start. I'm just pressing buttons randomly. I'm not exactly sure how to open this door.
So let me.
But
So
I've
you're
been
trying to
buying
take her
time
to
convince her that I've
so
got
we're
the
clear.
stones.
Okay, awesome. The cryopods has no atmosphere, right? It has no atmosphere. You open that door, stuff's going to get sucked out. She is not in a vac suit. So
Right.
that is what you're trying to do, is scare her. So you're trying to open the door and make her think, oh God, he's going to vent us into space. Give me a. Is this a wits roll, or are you actually going to do it? Because you're in a vac suit.
I think at least right now this is wits. I'm trying to convince her that and maybe it's strange because you can take this title, but it doesn't do anything. Because I was thinking of like leveraging, like I'm not some rebel grunt. I'm Lieutenant Supeth. I've taken down entire Imperial installations. You think I don't have the stones to kill one more imp?
That's dope. I want that to have a thing. So we'll give you a +1 from that. Just like
+1,
it's got
just
a fictional
to roll it flat.
Fictional positioning kind of deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe it counts as a free strain once per session.
I think I'll go with +1. That's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. +1's fine. Yeah. That's a 7 to 9.
Okay.
I'm happy with 7 to 9s. That's my favorite part.
Sweet. I think there's a moment where she stares you down and you think, oh, I'm actually going to have to do this thing. And you're resigning yourself to having to do it. Maybe it's not tasteful, right? Like you're filled with hate.
No,
but
it's not my
she's
first
an
choice for
innocent.
sure.
And she finally breaks and she says, what is it you want, Gotal?
I thought I was clear. I want the positions of every Imperial ship in this space, and I want them downloaded onto one of those data sticks.
I thought I was clear. I honestly do not have such information. I'm a spy. I've been in deep cover for several months. grating myself to whisper bass and its staff.
Whisper bass, deep cut.
I don't have it to give to you.
Well,
I
what
will
do
tell
you
you
have?
that there are Imperials on their way. This sabotage that I had planned was already communicated to Imperial Command. Warlord Zinch himself is aware that I have taken down this ship, and I know very soon there will be Imperials on their way. I put in a good word for you, but you will need to take care of the rest of the crew.
No, but now you got to make it fast, man. And then I'll hit her with like the stun on the blaster.
Okay. She falls
I
down.
believe her. I know now that there's going to be, it's not going to be easy getting out of here. But then
Cool.
I'll just throw her in the airlock between the two ships, so we
Deal with her
don't.
later, kind of deal.
We'll deal with her later. Yeah.
Sweet. That is awesome. So we have Janusz that's trying to, while Nabana is doing the job, Janusz is trying to decontaminate an area that has some toxic atmosphere due to radiation. So what's the plan here, you techie genius, you? Oh, you're talking on mute. Okay.
I am going to drop a lot of the stuff that I came in with me, and I'm going to crawl through some tubes and make my way into the laboratory at Medbay. And I'm going to use Medbay scrubbers and technology from there, and stuff in the lab that is used to I know, there's certainly something in the lab that is the equivalent of super lead, where like radiation that's in it won't come out of it. And I'm going to like set up some exhaust stuff with Medbay scrubbers and stuff like that. And basically I'm going to pull all of the air out of those rooms, and pull the toxins out, and then hard sci-fi here. How do you deal with radiation?
We could dump the core or something. Which would probably kill gravity, which would be super cool.
You could simply vent the air, but in a much more gentle way than just opening the door and venting everyone.
Aha! I'm going to so I'm gonna do the air scrubby thing, and I'm going to take all the all the energy out of the core and shove it into the guns. I'm going to start ultra powering the guns and then drop the core so that there'll be this big gun that wants to fire at an incoming ship when it happens.
Okay.
So I'm going to power up weapons. I'll drop most life support, and I'll clean up the toxins, and then easy peasy, we go home. So
all of those plans sound really complex and interesting. Here's one thing that I'll tell you before we even get to the die roll, Janusz. Yes, you do the thing of die-harding your way up into the vents. Only by being a Jawa are you able to fit in. Any regular sized person could not possibly pull this off, but you do. You see a human female in the med bay. She's she looks rough, like she's been shot. You can see the blood, like she was hit with a blaster. She's added some back to, she's in rough shape. So I want to make sure you have that information, but you want to do the things that you're talking about. That sounds great to me.
Well, I was doing all that because I thought I needed to find a way into a green space where I thought that maybe she was and she was suffering. So I misunderstood.
Okay. So she is not literally suffering right now, but mostly that's because she's numb on a lot of Bacta. She's in rough shape, has been shot, and is in the med bay where she's locked herself up. She can't get out because she'd have to go through the green space, right? So those droids are sitting there because they're already radiated and guarding it.
So
but you crawling through, you can kind of circumvent that. I do think if it feels fair, this is toxic. I do think a D4 cut in half worth of damage, hit points damage from like crawling through irradiated area seems fair. You okay with that?
I mean, I could take a D3. It's easier to roll.
Okay, just do a D3 then. Should have just went with that.
You've done that in the past. So.
I know. I just, for some reason. All right, just 1 point. Some of your Jawa hair will fall out. Go ahead. You're fine. Okay. You can still do all the stuff you want to do because she's got to get out of here and she can't get up there and crawl through
That
the
makes
vents.
sense. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Oh,
So I wasn't trying to circumvent the stuff you're doing. I just want to let you know, hey, here's where this person is that you've been told is your target to save.
Yeah, totally. So, so I go in and I take a look at her and see how she's doing, and see like what you said, that she's suffering, but she's kind of out of it right now.
Yeah, fading in out of consciousness. Definitely looks like she's used up what she could of the med bay to keep herself from dying. Checks one more time, checks to see if the signal's still going out, and then it's just sitting in a chair and kind of
Got it.
Trying to stay awake. Not doing a great job.
Okay. Okay, so I just get to work, and I guess it's a montage of some sort.
Sounds awesome. Musical montage. We keep cutting back to Nabana is like loading ore out and trying to carry it into the pilgrim, and Supeth is dealing with his prisoner. But let's get you to a roll. Now, the good news is you are a techie.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a wit roll because it's smarts and guile.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's roll some dice.
Okay.
In the meantime, I wanted to say that since the prisoner is stunned and I'm carrying the cargo, I think Nabana will say to Supet at some point, "Come on, you don't have to like watch over her. I will make sure she doesn't escape, and you can go find your, I don't know, rebel friend or whoever."
Like you just carrying ore back and forth, and then like you go on one trip, you come back, and then there's just a passed out body in the airlock. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yanush's saving our butts.
Okay. I got a 10.
Oh, because you spin a strain? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. A 10 is a full success. You do it without complications. It happens the way you describe it. Sorry, son's got an alarm that's going off. Okay, good. He took care of it.
Oh, he woke up. Okay.
Right. It's crazy. It's only, late morning. So you are able to drop out the power, load up the guns. The core is now dropped. All the lights and all the power goes out in the ship because you're already on backup. So there's literally no power, which means that you're quickly losing air as well.
What? Oh, who turned off the lights?
And as I open the door, I'm like, you don't need lights.
And then their little eyes like flicker on and glow, this like little amber glow, except for, unfortunately, one of them, B1403, only one of his eyes comes on. And 94 says,
What? You look like a pirate. It's very dashing.
and the B1 droid's 899, which is the one that was working on the terminal the whole time, just stands up. Well, you can't work on a terminal when all the power's cut off, so reaches over, grabs a blaster rifle. They're ready to head out. So how space fantasy do we want to go? I'm checking in with the play group, right? Because if a droid's irradiated, it's irradiated. So do these droids, are they irradiated, or are we going with, oh, it's radiation, but a die roll happened, we did techno magic, and they're good to go? Because the choice is,
I'm great with techno magic. They're, the room was the danger, not the droids.
cool.
As a salvagers, we can probably have stuff to decontaminate metal so that it can be safely
They need a
handled,
bath.
so-
Yeah.
You have
I
to
guess
scrub them down.
I give them some iodine. And,
Nice. Iodine bath. Cool.
isn't that what they put in salt or something? Anyway.
Keep going, you're sexy with your gun. Sweet. So then it sounds like you guys are clearing out of there.
Yeah.
Cool. I just didn't want to say you leave.
Is that ship that was promised to arriving?
Why? Yes, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to,
Because if Nabana, Yanush has like supercharged the weapons, I don't want that to not go off. Supeth has probably gone back to the weapon systems, taking care of the prisoner, whatever.
Yeah.
She's done her useful thing. He was hoping she had way more information than apparently she has. So I rolled poorly. It's okay.
Nushi's got. Yeah. So you guys are loading up the Pilgrim when I don't know, Tikitavi or Nabana, one of you hear the klaxon from inside the Pilgrim of something dropping out of hyperspace. When you look out, you see that a Gazanti class cruiser. And if you're not sure what that is, they are the big freighters that carry TIE fighters. So I will quickly share a pic of what they look like. Boop. A Gazanti class cruiser has come out of hyperspace and is on approach and hailing you guys because, they're following regs.
Are we still carrying the stuff, or are we back on our ship?
That's why I wanted to say, are you guys vamoosing? I think you're at this point like carrying last crate of ore, and maybe Janusz and Tikitavi are both teamed up to carry Mila Charkor out, or did you have the droids do it?
I think it's a group effort on all of our parts.
Nice. Okay.
I think Supeth is doing like the floating thing, right? Like grabbing onto the handholds.
Yeah.
Opens up the weapons thing, and there's like a one terminal for the weapons, and it's just like super bright green. It's the only like on thing in the ship.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That sounds really, really dope.
Maybe for a moment like goes, oh, should be the one to hit the big button. and then
You
just
never let me hit the button.
and then just slams it to fire on the Gazanti with our supercharged weapon.
That sounds amazing. Please give me a might roll. Here is what I think happens. On a success, you will take out the Gazanti class cruiser, but it will take a critical success for all of the TIE fighters to also be part of the blast.
That's fair. All right. Here
So we are
go.
already getting this like cool image as they are dropping out, and the TIE fighters are immediately like leaving with
Yep.
this like "Meow" sound everywhere.
Nice.
Yes, that is something along the lines of
Yes. That animal howl. I love that sound. All right.
it is a really cool sound.
Oh, that's a 6. Hold on. I can push it. I can really push it if I want to.
Yes, because you can spend 2 strain opposed to anybody else.
Yeah. Oh, but we're still gonna have to get out of here.
Make the boom.
I mean, the biggest boom is just let the 6 ride.
Oh.
That's a big boom.
Okay, I'll spend 1 strain. I'll spend 1 strain. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll
That's
test
definitely
our
going to
luck
push you
here.
to a success, which will take out the
Yes.
Gazanti class cruiser.
It's a 5, so that makes it an 11.
Wow, just shy of critical success. Do you let
I'm
that
okay
ride?
with that. I wanna have, maybe even Supeth knows, like, if I wait a second, I get to run away from TIE fighters, and that's kind of fun.
Awesome. So you hit that button and we like cut out to space. We have the gas giant behind, and it's like bronzes and coppers and little stria of red from the gas giant. We have the 2 ships that are together, the one that is now fully dead, and the pilgrim that is belly up beside it, Supeth Nick in the darkness. And we see this single green laser fire out, and it comes out, and it's like to the point where you see that the barrel itself gets slagged because so much energy cycled through it, right? But it fires through, and it just lasers right through the Gazanti class cruiser as those TIE fighters have all dropped out, and they're coming in screaming past. And yeah, that cruise, boom, boom. Of course, Star Wars. We hear the explosion. And the ship is rocked just a little bit. The pilgrim, as you guys singing, the lights of the pilgrim flicker for a little moment, and you gotta wait for Supeth Nick to make his way back because he was on board. So yeah, I think the very next thing that we have is fires from the TIE fighters as they're just coming in on attack runs on the pilgrim. Janusz, what are you doing?
If this is okay with Supeth, as Supeth grabs hold of handles and is working his way in a non-grab situation, Janusz has found I think it was Boba Fett's weapon, but basically like this cable shoots out and wraps around Supeth's hand like a grappling hook, and he just pulls Supeth over. Well, he doesn't. He attaches it to a thing, and it zips him back over. Because I haven't got the strength to do that.
I like that. No, maybe like wraps around my midsection, which is
Sure.
where I got shot, so it
Ah,
hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
I love it. I love the idea.
Take a hit point of damage from Supeth getting yanked in his his chest where he's gotten shot.
like
That
it.
sounds delightful and not at all problematic. Cool. Let's see. I'm actually. Did you make note, by the way, Pavel, of the 14 creds? I just don't want us to lose sight of it.
Nope.
Okay.
After the session is done, it's not important. So I'm just happy with you have some loot.
Fair enough. That is a very logical reaction. You caught up on that. I shouldn't sweat the details. So Janusz is dealing with that. Nabana, what are you doing?
Yeah, Nabana runs towards our wonderful ship, goes to where was turret access? Turret access 5, runs to 5, goes on the ladder. I think ladder goes up and puts on this like weird headset. Only partially managed to dump the vac suit, so he still has so he still has like legs. Sits there, and the turret starts rotating, and he just like we see this like two square spaces trying to align as he's trying to hit the TIE fighters, and he's shouting, "Come on, guys, we're sitting ducks. Shields won't hold forever."
Oh, that's awesome. Give me a might roll as you are firing on these TIE fighters. Oof, man. They are firing at you. And the ship, she is taking some damage. But let's go ahead and have you roll that might roll, see how things go.
I think I'm going to let it stand and see what comes. You know, Snake Eyes demand to be Snake Eyes.
Yes, they do. Please roll me 2d6.
No. Okay, roll the same 2d6.
Now they are 7.
Of course they are 7. So the Naboo Pilgrim has taken 7 points of damage. I think what we see if we're looking at the ship itself is that the exit ramp is what takes the majority of the damage. Like one of the TIE fighters comes underneath the Pilgrim and does this weird turn to fire up as it's sliding across using the gravity of the gravity well of the gas giant. And so it boom, 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 underneath. And at this point, your escape hatch is slag pretty bad. Yeah, it's the storm giant. Exactly. Thank you. The storm giant gas cloud something. But yeah, you guys take 7 points of damage. The whole ship only has 13. So you're definitely losing some losing power here as everything starts to flicker. You now have gravity again, Supeth, as you've been pulled in. You and Yanush are there. I assume you close the airlock doors and rush past the B1 droids that are carefully bringing Mila Charcourt into, I guess, the med area.
There's we have a med bay.
Yeah, medical bay. You do, number 4.
Yeah, 4, yeah.
So the tiny little med bay. They're going to take care of Mila Charcourt. And I guess, Supeth, you're running up to the cockpit.
Yes, I'm running to the cockpit. And I'm hoping Yanush is coming with me.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, unless, you wanted to jump on the guns too.
Well, I have an idea, and it would need to happen in the cockpit. So I'm hoping it happens.
Okay.
Sweet. So Supethnik, you have dealt with TIE fighters before. You know that the main advantage you have is you can go to hyperspace and they don't. Unfortunately, hyperspace engines and astrogation is set up to, when you go to hyperspace, you can't be in a gravity well.
Right.
In fact, one of the Imperial tactics that maybe you've dealt with in the past is gravity well generators that large Imperial ships will use to snatch people out of hyperspace. So you know that you've got that challenge. Yes, once you go to hyperspace, you've let these guys behind. They can't chase you. However, there are 4 of them. They are more agile, and probably each of them are nearly as well armed as the Pilgrim. So this is going to be a fight. It's going to be, let's see, a tough situation that the ship is in. There's one of the wishes.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So, yeah. So Supeth jumps into the chair, just with one big arm sweep, hits a whole bunch of switches. Rolls hard, and probably there's probably a the B1 droids do the Han Solo Chewbacca in the tunnel thing, off to one side as we do this hard roll, and I'm trying to, I know that Nabana is on the guns. So I know that we've got at least a fighting chance here. I'm trying to get us away, but also get Nabana a better shot by like getting the TIE fighters to have to go into that gravity well and slow down, or they'll die.
Nice. That sounds amazing. And so you're throwing her into gear, you're leaving the insurgent behind. So it's, you know, maybe a little bit of blockage that you could use to your benefit. We cut to the med bay and 94 says,
Exactly who is the pilot here? I could do better than this.
and they're holding on to Mila Charcourt and getting shook around a bunch. Janusz, you move up and I assume strap yourself in. Does Tiki Tavi follow you? There are 4 seats. She obviously could. I just wanted to see if that's
I
where you
have
had in your
given
head.
I've given her special instructions, and so she's not there right now.
Okay, that sounds awesome. I love special instructions. This makes me happy. Let's go to Supith. You know what? No, I want to see how Nabana is doing. You've got 4 TIE fighters. Pick them, anyone you want. Give me a might roll.
Yeah. We see Nabana trying to align this square spaces and get this like image that is moving on the screens in the middle, and then fire when it is in the middle. So they're like bursts of fire from our turret, and they're firing at us. Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Good luck.
It's a 7. At
Another
least I
7.
managed to square 1 in the hit.
Sweet. Yes, you definitely take out a TIE fighter. Please roll me a D3.
D3 is 2.
Okay. So it's actually, you rolled a D6, so we'll cut that in half. It's actually 1.
Oh yeah.
As it's okay. So I think what happens is that you fire on that TIE fighter and it explodes, and we have the pilgrim like fly right through the middle of the explosion. But of course, there's 1 hit point damage that you take, but you never see the hit point damage in the shows, but in the movies. But that's what happens. So we lose a hit point of damage, but you've taken out one of the TIE fighters, and there's a pair of them, one that's wingmanning the other, that are sliding in behind the pilgrim Nabana, and you're going to have to figure out what to do about that. Or maybe Supith Nick, as you see there are 2 TIE fighters that are coming in behind you, whereas there's that one that kind of shot you in the belly. This guy thinks he's some kind of maverick. Like, he's whipping around using the gravity well to give him the ability to, like, he's skating up ahead of you. Like, he's using that gravity well to slingshot him past you. And then he's going to turn off his plan is to turn off his engines and like flip around and just fire on you as you're coming at him. He's crazy.
His name is Goose.
He's doomed. What do
Oh,
you do?
Stupid TIE pilots think I've never seen a K turn. And I'm gonna so he's flying out ahead, right? And he's gonna turn off and spin. What he's not counting on is I'm flipping the pilgrim over, so all he's gonna get is like a huge
Engine
blast of plasma from our
That's
engines.
wicked.
And oh man, I guess do I fly with wit?
Oh, that's a really cool thing. I think you're trying to pull off a witty maneuver, yeah?
Yeah,
Because you're not blasting with
not so
grit.
great at witty.
You know, having to hold on like with fortitude.
Ooh,
Grit. Yeah. Okay. So this
Yeah, let's
is
do
a,
grit.
we don't do this a lot in Star Wars, but it's a high G maneuver, right? This is,
Nice. What are
stay
Gs?
conscious while we flip. All right. Here we go. Rolling plus nothing. 7. Yeah, I'm burning a grit or a strain.
A strain. Okay.
Here we go. 4. So that's early for math. 11.
Yeah, it is early for math. An 11 is a full success. I think I'm gonna give you narration. What happens to that hotshot TIE fighter pilot? Is he slagged or is he just
So yeah,
ruined?
he gets out ahead of us. I see his tie engines go out. He spins, and as I see him spinning, the cockpit view like goes up, and then we just see a shot from the back of the engines, like the point of view from the engine. It's just this blue, and then the whole TIE fighter turns blue and just disintegrates.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. And the last thing we hear is
Yes, the Wilhelm scream.
yes, I specifically wanted to give you a Wilhelm scream. Awesome. And then there's a explosion from the poor little TIE fighter, and one of the panels gets thrown like 3D effects straight at the camera. It's that poor hotshot pilot who he wasn't even named. But he'll be at conventions for the rest of his life. He's set whenever he wants to do autographs and stuff like that. But he'll be replaced by CGI voice later.
If you hadn't killed the pilot, Greg, I was going to have it be my pilot, Orana, and this would be her last Imperial flight, where she's like, "Screw this."
That was definitely not Arana.
That was not Arana, but dang, that's cool. That would have been a neat little bit.
I mean,
Sweet.
it required some mental gymnastics, but whatever.
I was like, time, but who cares? Sweet. So yeah, Arana does fly better. You do that, you take ahead of that, but then that means those two TIE fighter pilots that were like lead and wingman, they're right on you. And I'm gonna have you roll a d6.
I hope you got a good plan here, Yanush. That's a 4.
That'll be 4 more points of damage to the Naboo. She is down now to 8. And oh, by the way, in last week's or yesterday's game, I literally, because they were about to get into a space battle, I X-carded the use of percentages of shields. Like I preemptively X-carded because I said that's a Star Trek thing. You either have shields and they're holding or they're gone. That's it. But yeah, your shields are gone at this point. You are taking damage to the bulkhead. You are taking damage to systems. The weapons system Nabanon flickers for just a moment. You think it's going to go out, but then you maybe like hot swap a couple of wires and reroute to secondary power. But now, Yanush, you see those 2 TIE fighters coming directly at you. They are firing like mad and thinking they've got you. You even hear one of them say, "Oh, you got to hear this. I heard Darth Vader say this once. I have you now." He says that to his wingman. He's getting cocky.
Okay. So feel free to override me, Greg or Pavel. But here's the thing I've been imagining since this whole thing started. I have sent Tiki Tavi to the engine room to be doing some very, very, very dangerous things.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to pull the Pilgrim up at a sharp angle and hit a button, and some highly explosive gas giant stuff that's used to make power will be ejected directly in front of these TIE fighters who are firing. And we will ride that explosion into hyperspace, and then we won't have much power left. So we'll
That sounds amazing. What's on the line are 2 things. The first thing is you've got to pull off this very, I think, witty maneuver.
Yeah.
Only someone with your technical expertise leading Tiki Tavi could pull this off. The second thing at risk is not just the maneuver, but Tiki Tavi's in the belly of the beast as all of this happens. Her life is on the line here.
Sure.
So your follower is at risk.
Okay.
All right. So let's see, roll with wit. Good luck.
I think Supith kind of is very caught up in this maneuver, and like just gets the slightest glance at what you're about to do, and is like about to cover the button, but then you hit it.
Maybe you go to cover the button and I slap your hand down on it anyway.
I like that. That's pretty funny.
Either way is fine. Either way is fine. Okay. I will spin a string to make that critical.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it 1d6, you can roll it just for funds, but that will be critical. And tell us, what does this crazy maneuver look like when you pull it off?
So, well, first of all, Yanush is kind of tunnel visioned. So there are technical aspects to this that are, to be considered. Things like the rolling explosion back towards the engine scoop. So I think there is a lot of damage we take on our underbelly as this happens. But I basically imagine like we're doing a game of chicken, and we pull up and belch forth some green planet matter, and the TIE fighters don't stop firing because it's too quick, and this explosion like doesn't smoothly bump us anywhere, like it sends us spinning. But Supeth manages to keep us out of a gravity well. Like we're sort of sitting there, and we're looking at each other, and I'm not sure what Supeth is thinking, but the two of us are looking at each other, and I point to the hyperspace button, and I'm just like, there you go. I guess we don't have to actually leave right now, but
Supeth, like, just, as we're spinning, just goes, hit it.
And boom, zoom, we're gone before the next ship arrives.
And taking off to hyperspace, I assume you guys are jumping to the other side of Zinj's, like outside of Zinj's empire's boundaries, to recoup and figure things out. I think there's time for a couple quiet scenes, and then we'll move to epilogues. Maybe a moment where Amila Charcourt's waking up and sees you, Supeth. Does that sound fun? Interesting?
Sure. Yeah.
So she's in the med bay, surrounded by at least two of the B1 droids.
I figured the B1 droids were also there. Yes.
One of them's gone away. 899. She's gonna try to check out the systems. She clucks her tongue, like she's figured out how to make a clucking tongue sound effect at various shortcuts, as she defines them, have been taken with ship's maintenance. But Mila,
efficiencies. They're called efficiencies.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Shortcuts. Mila's eyes flutter, and she peers up into the lights, and then she sees you. Soup?
Hey, kid.
She reaches up a hand, kind of puts it on your little furry muzzle there, and smiles. I never thought you'd answer that distress call.
Well, you use that old code.
Well, we were right in the middle of imp territory. I didn't want them coming around. Oh, where am I?
Welcome to the and like on the wall, we haven't had time. The ship's old name, the rebel name for this ship, which I don't have off the top of my head. I'm open to any suggestions. Is like still on the bulkhead. And so Supeth, like, because it's legitimate salvage, right? He just leans his arm against the name. Well, welcome to the Naboo Pilgrim.
Are you from Naboo, Soup? You never talked about your home.
Well, just the name the ship had when I got it,
Thank you. I think we are sabotaged.
Yeah, there's a bad character on your ship. We got her. Or root or something like that. Well, we'll get her in front of one of those rebel tribunals.
The Rebel Alliance is the New Republic. You know that, Soup.
I see how it is. And he just leaves the med bay.
We haven't stopped fighting, Soup. We could use you.
No.
I could use you.
The governors just put on different badges. The Moff's got new titles. I'm not the one with the wool over his eyes. And he's got big, bushy eyebrows, of course.
Cool. I think that's the end of the scene, is just a slightly disappointed look on Milla's face, and she grabs at the wound, and one of the B1s comes over and says,
Don't be too disappointed. He's not a very good shot.
cool. Any last bits before we move to epilogues? Any like wrap ups that you guys? Sweet. I think that you end up docking at a spaceport. You can offload the ore that you found. Mila will, I guess, based on your epilogues, will either get secure passage on someone else to get back to her base on Arda, on Whisper Base, or maybe something else. So we'll transition to epilogues and bring this thing to a close a little bit early, but hey, no reason to stretch things out if we found a good ending. Does anyone have an epilogue they'd like to start off with? I'm most curious if the crew stays together, if you end up doing other things or stay as salvagers, if Janusz becomes a baron again. Like, these are all things that I'm curious about. But you don't have to answer them in your epilogue. They're just notions.
I think I'm not going to answer too much of what you want to know, because I don't know. But I think we see Nabana in some like salvage shop on some well-functioning space station, and he's browsing stuff, and we see that he finds this like metal ring that Twi'leks put on their leg, and it's cool and shiny. It's something to think of an art, and he even like shouts at the salvage owner that he doesn't respect art, and he should know better, but he's really happy for the low price he got it from. So now we see in Nabana. Above his bench, he has 2 pieces of some priceless, in quotation marks, pieces of Twi'lek's art. One of them is this like Leko ring, and the other I have no idea what, but we see mostly this one. And since he's on his ship bench, I think at least he stayed on the ship, but I don't know. It depends from Supet's epilogue. Maybe if he went back to fighting some more or something like that.
For Supeth's epilogue, I think we go to like one of the cargo bays on the Naboo Pilgrim, and Nelia Orut is in like a flight chair, and like the lights are turned off except for one above her, right? And this is the promised tribunal that Supeth told her about. And it could just be Supeth. I don't know if Nabana or any of the others want to be part of the judgment on her. But there's he lets her speak her case for whatever, blah blah blah. She was an Imperial spy, but she was forced into it or whatever. And Supeth finds her guilty, slams some like hyper spanner thing on the and you have been sentenced to execution by being thrown into vacuum. And a door closes, the back of the freighter opens up, she flies out, but it turns out we're not in space. We're in atmosphere over a New Republic base, and her parachute expands and she just like floats down into the middle of their base.
That's great. Curse you, Gotal! She never bothered to learn your name. She's just that evil.
So, Yanush and Tiki Tavi are standing on near the edge of a cliff on a desert planet. Tiki Tavi has an eye patch on. The explosion from the from the previous mission unfortunately took her eye, and if she wants cybernetic replacement, maybe that'll happen. But they're looking on the smoking and charred remains of multiple sandcrawlers, and Yanush realizes that revenge builds and tit for tat continues, and the two of them nod their heads and turn around, and will next be seen on Coruscant.
Ooh. Interesting.
Getting even more revenge.
Super revenge. This time,
Baron Yanush at this point, since no one's around to contest it.
they all died. All the people who said, no, you're not a Baron, they're dead, so you're a Baron.
But I'm a Baron who's going to get revenge.
Yeah, for sure. Or die trying.
Or both.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Sounds good. Sounds also terrible, but good.
Yeah.
That will bring our little mini series to a close. Thank you all so much for playing Rovers with me, for playing these wild salvagers that you've created. It's been delightful and oddly whimsical at times, like fun in different and unexpected ways. This was a pretty mangy and interesting cast of characters. If anybody is interested in sticking around, love to do just a quick bit of stars. We'll go ahead and stop the recording at this point. Thank you guys so much for playing, and we'll bring the recording to a close.